Tommy Rex, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now, here's your host. Incarceration, America's rock, metal, and tattoo festival returns this summer with Limp Bizkit, Disturbed, Bad Omens, plus Gojira, Papa Roach, A Day to Remember, Motionless in White, Ice Nine Kills, Cypress Hill, The Used, and so many more. Incarceration at the Ohio State Reformatory, July 17th to 19th. Passes on sale now at incarceration.com.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle, and apparently my union dues are due today because I'm being joined by the Death Dealer Union, members of the Death Dealer Union. What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Good.
Hey, what's up?
Good.
Yeah, I try and come up with something clever right off the fly, and it usually falls flat, because I'm a dad, and I usually tend to lean towards dad jokes, but anyway.
That's all right.
Dad
We'll
jokes
collect
are
your union dues later.
Sounds good. But usually when I have people on for the first time, I like to go like way back. So before you guys were members of the Death Dealer Union and you're little kids, do you remember originally what you wanted to be when you grew up? We could start with UK.
I mean, a multitude of things, but one of my main things was I wanted to be on Broadway, actually, when I was young. That was a dream of mine. I had veterinarian in there for a little bit as well. But, yeah.
Nice. And how about you, CC?
Well, I couldn't decide if I wanted to be the Bionic Man or Peter Criss from Kiss as a drummer. So I think I kind of stayed with the Peter Criss part, and I actually ended up meeting him later, and we were friends, and it was a trip. But I think I always just wanted to be a drummer and somewhat of a soldier for the masses, to help the people however I could, kind of thing. And so I guess I'm doing it through music right now. Yeah.
Nice. And then you already kind of mentioned like Peter Criss being an inspiration, but before you even picked up sticks, who were some of the earliest musical influences you heard around the house?
Well, I'm an 80s and 90s kid. I'm a Gen Xer. So I my stepbrothers and cousins were all, I was pretty young, but they were all listening to like Supertramp and Heart and Blue Oyster Cult and bands like this, and then and not so much Supertramp, but I personally really dug Heart and Blue Oyster Cult, and that became some of my sort of and then I was introduced to bands like Rush and things like that, and so then really throughout the 80s I gravitated way towards more of the metal bands, but those were some of the, I guess, things I was introduced to early.
Nice. And how about you, Kay?
I grew up listening to a lot of, like, what my parents would listen to. There was a lot of Billy Joel and Elton John, Boston, CCR. Got a little bit older, listened to a lot of like Everclear. My first like obsession band and album was Tragic Kingdom from No Doubt. I was obsessed with Gwen Stefani in that album. But yeah, so that was probably one of my first inspirations, and then kind of the segue into harder music. And I love exploring new music and finding new music. So
Nice. And you mentioned like early on, you thought about being a veterinarian. Like, you know, my oldest daughter was kind of the same path, but then she discovered like show choir at school and liked performing. So, you know, that's kind of been where she's been getting pulled to. But you mentioned Broadway. Like, what kind of pulled you into stepping out and performing yourself?
it's something that I think has just always kind of been in my blood. Whenever I've been on stage, I've felt like I'm home. And from the first time I did that, and just like even school productions and whatnot in grade school and junior high, anytime, it was just like, oh, there's something about this that just feels right.
Nice. And what about you, CC?
And again, like what's some of the more inspirations and stuff?
Or like what pulled you into like actually, you know, picking up the sticks and then you started, you know, wanting to play live?
Yeah, I guess it was, yeah, kind of like what Kay was saying, you know, once I was sort of behind the kit and with some good players and we were making something, you know, I was like, okay, this is it. This is, you know, this is what those guys that I've been looking up to, that's what they're all feeling. So I get it now. And so, you know, I just had to do that. So, yeah. And like, I remember, I think one of the more decisive moments was for me also was when I first heard Rush. So I was this cousin of mine was in this band and they were older, you know, whatever. So I looked up to him, you know. I thought, I was like, oh my gosh, you know, and he knew I was like this little kind of rocker kid that would like music a lot, and he put on the headphones. I was up at his house and he was showing me his guitars, and he put on his headphones and goes, "Hey man, check this out." And he put on side one of Rush 2112, and I was just like, that was it, you know. I was like, wow, like that was like a whole new experience. And then from there, it was just, okay, I got to measure up to that.
Now I know, like usually, like when I especially when it comes to drums, it's like a roll of the dice for the parents. Like, do we let this person our child bring a drum kit into the house? Like, what are the chances that they're going to be serious about this, or it's just going to drive us nuts? What was the, what was your family's reaction to when you started?
Yeah, my parents hated it and did not support me. I had to scrounge for my right to play, basically.
And then just like once you showed the dedication and determination and started doing it, it was just like prove them wrong or whatever, right?
Yeah, I don't think anyone. I didn't get a lot of support. I like my brother was really cool. You know, my brother he would in some of my earlier career when I was a drummer here in LA, you know, drumming for metal bands on the circuit and stuff. You know, he would be at my shows and helping me roadie and stuff. And so I didn't get a lot of support till later, really. My parents now have been, my one parent left has been really supportive and it's been pretty cool. But early on I had to, you know, it just wasn't taken seriously, especially like drummer, like all the jokes you hear about drummers and, you know, that's literally how my parents looked at it in some ways. it was kind of tough. But anyway, here I am. So there,
Nice. And then like when now did you grow up around LA or where did you originally start playing at?
Yeah, I'm from Santa Barbara. I grew up in Santa Barbara. I was born up near Santa Cruz in a town called Los Gatos. It's just kind of over the hill. And then I was my parents were split early, so I was kind of shuffled around. But my mom took my brother and I to Santa Barbara, and that's where I was raised. And I had to spend a couple of years up in the Central Valley where my dad lived, because we'd like do the swapping thing where kid lived with one parent or whatever. So I lived up there until I went to boarding school, and then my parents just got rid of me through boarding school. So that was pretty much it. And then I went. I worked for a while, and then I finished college a little late. I was like 27, 28 when I finished college. I studied music, and then instead of coming back to Santa Barbara, I moved to LA proper, so I wouldn't have to do the commute, because I wanted to work in the music business and stuff. That's what I did. So yeah, that's basically where I grew up. And
Gotcha. And then Kay, like when you started actually performing live and stuff, what was like the music scene like where you grew up at?
Where I live, there's not really much of a music scene. I live kind of in the middle of nowhere. A little town of about 1,000 people, surrounded by cornfields. So there's not a ton around me. So I've had to like seek out and find the things that I can. There's a couple of local bands and stuff, but I was never fortunate enough to be involved with one of them. There was a band I hung out with when I was in my 20s, and that was a lot of fun, but there's not a ton around me, to be completely honest.
Gotcha. And then CC, when did Death Dealer Union come together? When was that formed?
So Doug and I put the band together in 2019 area, and started kind of, we were like auditioning like second guitar players. This is the very beginning of the band and whatnot. But that's basically where we started. We're still in basically the same studio, same rehearsal studio in West LA. We moved actually 3 doors down, but we're essentially in the same place that we were.
And what was like the inspiration for the name?
So that's a good question. So the name comes. I don't know if you're familiar with the Underworld movies.
Okay, yeah.
But Kate Beckinsale, her character is a death dealer. She's a vampire assassin. So I came up with the idea that we were a group of vampire assassins. We were a union. We were a death dealer union. It was
Nice.
It was just sort of a play on a cool movie, on just but that was where the inspiration came from. Yeah, it was.
Gotcha. And now, Kay, how did you get connected now with how did you become a card carrying member of the Death Dealer Union? Living from the cornfields to, the underworld.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's interesting. So like I said, I always had to kind of like seek out things, right? And so one of the things that I always would do, since my background is more in theater, I would always stalk Backstage, that online platform. and just see if there would be anything that would possibly line up that I could try for. And I had seen a posting for a singer for a band, and you don't really see that like ever on that site. So it instantly kind of sparked my interest. And then I clicked on it, and I was already, I mean, a big fan of heavy music. And I saw that it was a metal band, and I was like, oh. And then like I saw it was Death and I was like, oh, I've heard of them. I think I had heard some of their stuff before, and it was the female fronted. So I was like, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm gonna try. And I didn't have, you know, the stuff that they were looking for, but I sent them a message on Instagram, and I never thought that I was going to hear back, but I did. And I sent them a really terrible quality demo. But
that terrible demo got you the job.
it did.
Well, I mean, the rawer the better,
terrible.
I guess, right? You know?
What's that?
Exactly.
The rawer the better, right?
That's exactly what I was going to say. It wasn't that terrible.
Yeah. And it's like, I mean, if you weren't doing it like in a professional setting with auto tune and it was just like you, then they knew like what we're working with here, you know? And it's like, you know, obviously you showed that you got the pipes for it. I mean, you know, I was going through the I guess the rabbit hole, the of past tracks, and listening when Lena was still in the band, and like one of the tracks that like really caught my attention was Beneath the Surface. Now, CC, I know, you know, I mean, you wrote the music or helped contribute to the music with that, but do you recall any of the, like, some of the inspirations behind the writing of that song?
Well, the lyrics were, in that case, were written by Lena. I wrote the music with the producer and Doug.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you what Lena. I mean, Lena just kind of wrote whatever she wanted. I didn't. You know, Lena wrote about a lot of good stuff with like, sort of getting to a personal better self, inspirational stuff. I believe the song kind of alluded to that. I think if I can remember the lyrics off the top of my head.
Gotcha. And then now,
or to find a way to your better self through a maze, I believe, or something.
yeah, that's what I would. You know, when I was listening to that, I felt. You know, I've always been a big lyric person, so something that gets me like self-reflecting. You know, on things that you know, and everybody gets their own messages, you know, from things. It tells everybody. I love when it kind of it's open to interpretation, but as long as it makes you feel and think, you know, I think that's always like a good, great quality to music. But
I think you're going to be really, really pleasantly surprised with the new record. It's coming out in like 4 weeks or 5 weeks or something. The first single, and I think with a lot of the content there, and Kay could probably speak more to you about it, maybe on a second interview or whatever when it comes out. But I think we took a little bit more of a different direction in that we sort of spoke about the theme of the song, more or less. We have a couple of tracks on the album. One of them is called Into the Maze.
That's a good track.
And then, so yeah, I would encourage you when you get a chance when it comes out. Yeah.
And then like Kay coming into the group, like I don't know, like what did you cover one of the old songs when you submitted the demo, or what did you send them?
So what I initially sent them,
you sent me In This Moment.
yeah, it
and
was
you
Half
sent
God,
me,
Half Devil from In This Moment.
Yeah.
It was a little snippet of it. And
Yeah.
then you had sent back, and I recorded a demo of the song that's actually will be coming out next month, probably. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Did we lose
Gotcha.
him?
I don't know. I think he disappeared. But what can but with the latest single, the cover of Ghosts, Square Hammer, let's talk about like what
Can you guys hear me?
yeah, you're
Sorry,
back.
I think I lost audio.
Yeah, no, we got you. Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Actually, CC had brought the idea to me about the cover for Square Hammer, and I immediately thought it would be a really good idea.
Nice.
And then we just kind of
CC,
ran with it.
what was what was it that you felt about that song? You know, given that your guys' own little spin on it.
Just the honest truth is I'm just a huge fan of Ghosts, and I just thought they, again, they just reminded me so much of like a modern Oyster Cult.
Yeah.
There's very tasty, very well-written songs, and they covered such a wide spectrum, and I just thought that I listened to Square Hammer, and I just said, man, I can hear the drive in it, but it needs this. So we did this. That's what you get.
Nice. And then already, like, I mean, debuting Kay, as your new vocalist, this has been getting a lot of attention for you guys on, like, I was reading what the Corridor of Covers radio show and Worldwide Women of Metal already introduced to that crowd. What's that been like for you, Kay, being exposed to the world like that?
It's been a little wild. Like I said, my normal, day-to-day life is very small town, very different. So it's just, I guess, for lack of a better way to say it, it almost feels like a little bit like Hannah Montana-ish.
Nice. That's awesome. And then you guys worked with producer Max Morton. Is he CC? Is that somebody you guys have worked with in the past as well?
No. In fact, so Max is known for his work with Ginger. And it was, interestingly enough, it was Lauren Hart, a friend of mine who she's now singing with Arch Enemy, of course, but she, we were hanging out. This was before she was in Arch Enemy, and gosh, it's like a year and a half ago now. Now I think about, but she's like, because she and I were talking about her possibly singing for Death to the Union, and of course she got a way better gig with Arch Enemy, but she had mentioned to me that she just goes, yeah, you should talk to Ginger's producer. I'm like, okay. And so it was easy. Because we were both on Napalm Records at the time, so I called my product manager, the A&R guy that we deal with, and he gave me Max's information, it was instantly, yeah. And Max has just been, just everything, a big part of this record. I mean, it was just huge connecting with him, and we're really, really happy. Yeah.
Nice. And then you mentioned now, I think you said it's like a month away from being released. You guys have a date set already?
I think it's going to be June 20th or so.
Okay. No.
Oh,
He's very popular today.
apparently.
Do you know when or are you able to say, like, you guys the name of the
Can you hear
album?
me?
Yeah.
Good.
Darn it.
Yeah, you're good. But yeah, Kay, do you know what the name of the album is?
Okay, sorry. Good.
Sorry.
Yeah. Do you you mentioned when the album's going to be coming out? Are you able to talk about like the name of the album yet?
Sure. I think the album will be called Dark Sister.
Nice.
You're hearing it here first.
Dark Sister. All right. And then what kind of like inspired you guys picking that name? Is that going to also be one of the tracks on the
There is a title track to that, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Nice. And then you said now that the album's coming out in like a month. Did you say there's another single getting ready to get released too?
Correct. So our
Oh no,
first
it's the single comes out next month. The whole album will be at a later date.
Oh, okay. Okay, so is that the single Dark Sister that's coming out?
No, it'll be a
no, we
different
have
single.
another single that we're gonna put out first, and you'll stay tuned for that. We don't want to reveal too much, but we'll at least tip off the name of the record and that there will be a song called that. But there's another single that's coming out before that, so I expect about 3-4 singles, maybe more, from this upcoming album.
And then for UK, like, I mean, this all new experience here for you, being able to work and record, be on an album and work in the studio. I know with technology we can do a lot of things remotely, but did you fly in to do any of the vocals or?
No, so actually the recording was done completely remotely. I worked very, very closely with Max throughout the entire process, and just got kind of some basic high quality gear, and we were able to nail down some great vocals for this record. But yeah, it was completely remote, the whole vocals. But for the video, I did go out to LA.
Okay, good. And then I mean, like I said, once again, like, this is like an all new experience coming from the cornfields, and now coming out to LA and shooting a music video and stuff. What I mean, what's all this? Like you said, you mentioned kind of like referring to Hannah Montana-ish a little bit. It's funny because my daughter, my oldest, that I was talking about earlier, was just out for Coachella, and she stopped by the Hannah Montana house to get her picture taken there, because that was one of her inspirations growing up and stuff too. But like, what is this whole thing been like for you? And yeah, what are you looking forward to going forward?
I'm looking forward to everything, and I've been in a state of kind of awe a little bit, kind of like things like this don't happen where I'm at very often, and it's just, but at the same time, it's been so wonderful to finally be able to fully do stuff that feels like me and feels like I'm doing the thing that I'm meant to do, and it just brings so much joy to my life, on top of, my regular life. But
Nice. Now, do you guys have with the release of the full length when it comes out, is there plans or talk of tour to support the album?
Kay, yeah, you can tell them. We're starting. We're gonna have about a 10-11 show first run here, starting in October of this year. And then there was talk of possibly doing Japan in 27. So we should be able to announce tour dates here pretty soon. I know Vegas is on the map. I know LA is on the map. There's going to be quite a few towns. So that'll happen right basically at the end of the summer once the full album drops.
Nice. And Kay, what would you say is the nearest venue for where you're living at right now? And is there a chance of a homecoming show for you?
We have like county fairs and stuff like that.
We're gonna Kay's gonna get us the headline gig at the county fair.
There we go.
And we'll be playing there at some time. Yeah. No, I expect we'll probably sweep all through that area eventually.
Chicago would probably be the closest for me, like venue-wise.
Gotcha. Nice. And then before we get ready and wrap up, let me ask you guys a couple of questions I normally ask the guests I have on. Now we talked a little bit with both of you, but I'll send this one to you first, CC. You mentioned kind of your earliest inspirations playing with, being Rush and Peter Criss and stuff like that. Who are your top 3 artists that you've been listening to today?
Yeah, great question. I mean, there's so, I think, Duplantier is just awesome on drums. I'm listening to, I think what Spirit Box was doing, I really like Spirit World as well. Believe it or not, I'm a huge fan of the band Cannons. They're like a dance band out of LA, but they're local. They're from Venice. They're from where I'm from, basically, or was living in LA. That's, I don't know. I'm still listening to Rammstein. I'm still listening to, Merciful Fate and King Diamond. Mickey D as a drummer was, when I was a young drummer, that was the guy that we all measured up to, and that was, that was the guy that, now drummers now are, those guys are just, these drummers now are just shredding. And so I'm looking up to a lot of them, and I'm looking up to the guys that came before us. And I also just wanted to mention too, I guess, about the huge opportunity that we had with Liquid Metal, and how thankful we really were to Scotty and those guys, and Liquid Metal and Jose and everybody, and Sean for rolling that out. It was really great. Yeah, we were really excited about that.
Nice. And Kay, who are your the top 3 artists you're listening to today?
Well, so just took our oldest to his first concert, which was Slaughter to Prevail in Whitechapel, because he's a big fan, big fan. So I've kind of been listening to them a lot lately, just kind of riding high from the concert experience. I usually like to sing along in my car a lot when I'm like listening to music. So I listen to a lot of like A Plot in You. I've been listening to them a lot. Nothing More. Love Beartooth. Imminence. They're fantastic. But,
Now, did you by chance check out Alex's fight the other night?
I did actually. Yeah.
Yeah, me too, man. I don't know how he does it, performs and then gets out there, but I become a huge fan of him too. I mean, just like what he can do vocally doesn't even sound human, you know, but
I know.
The fact that what he said after the fight, you know, was so inspirational too. It's just like, you know, hey, I'm not a tough guy. I'm afraid. And I just face my fears. And that's like, yeah, dude's legit, man. I love that.
He really is. It was really cool to see them live, and especially because, like I said, my kid's a huge fan, and so it was epic. It was awesome.
But hey, Kay here, we've got a song. I won't tell you which one, but Kay's hit some gutturals there that you'd be pretty proud of. I am. And so,
nice.
yeah, we definitely put a much more emphasis into the harder side of things on this new record.
I always like to joke with some of my friends, especially when like I'll go see like Ginger and stuff live. It's just like, can you imagine like, you know, leaving your dirty socks on the floor and her coming home and just like telling you, pick up your socks, take out the trash, you know, just like right away.
Yeah.
But, and then, you know, I like asking this question as well. You know, you just mentioned, you know, your youngest are going to see the show and whatever, but what class do you feel should be mandatory today before graduating high school?
Taxes. Learn how to do your taxes.
Yeah.
That's like the number one answer I get all the time. It's that and
like
finances, you know?
Yeah, or just like a common sense class, kind of, you know?
Yeah, those seem to be lacking as well lately, you know? But yeah, taxes and maybe how to budget money. It's like they'll teach you how to get in debt, but they don't teach you how to stay above water. It's like almost by design, you know? And
also
then
physics. I think physics as a required course would be good.
Yeah. That was my second go around in college was physics. So
nice. And then I'll start with you, CC. Who are 3 people who've inspired you and you can credit for making you the person you are today?
gosh, people will.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be musicians either. Just, you know.
Can it be anything?
Yeah, anybody that's made you who you feel like made you who you are today.
I thank the goddess of the universe for making me. And second of all, gosh, that's a very big question for me. I have to think about that. Kay, you go first.
Well, I mean, my parents have definitely been instrumental in my entire life. I was fortunate enough to have really, really incredible parents.
I can vouch for that. I've met her parents. They're very, very cool.
They're really cool. from grade school all the way up until the end of high school, I worked with one singular vocal coach, Mr. Wiltz, and he was definitely made me able to fine tune and learn all the techniques and whatnot, and then obviously I was fortunate enough to work with Melissa Cross on the distortions and stuff, and she was able to take me to a whole new level, and amazing. Third, I'd probably just have to say like probably my family, like my husband and my kids, kind of as a unit, because they're so wonderful and supportive, and on board with everything. And it's really fantastic to have such support and love surrounding it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love hearing when the unsung heroes get a mention, like your what was it, Mr. Wilson?
Mr. Wiltz, yeah.
Yeah, that because it's like these people get in, doing. You never know who you can impact in life in a positive way.
That's just what I was thinking too. I was trying to think of and that's what, before you even said that, Kay, there's been people, some people that come to mind for me are like just scientists who dare to take on ideas and big things, people that overcome huge adversities, and things like that have been. I know there's a whole bunch of them that have inspired me, and I just can't name them right now, but those are some of the people I've looked to as well.
Nice. And then, are there any causes or organizations that you guys support and encourage others to check out?
Definitely, you should check out Headbang for Science, Jose Mangin's charity. If you can support that, Death Dealer Union has supported that in the past. It's a great segue of metal and science, which are the two things I love.
Nice. And then going
and
back,
also there's the ASPCA needs some help on some of the shelters for some of those animals. So that would be two I could recommend.
Nice. And then going back to childhood, favorite toy as a child?
Okay.
I'm trying to think.
I'm still like a collector at heart, so I always ask that question.
Wait, I don't know if it was like my favorite toy, but it's the one that's popping out in my head right now. It was like this little plastic two-headed dragon thing, but like one of the dragon heads could come off of it and be like a little snake, and then I would always have it come in and attack all the Barbies.
Nice.
That one stuck out in my head. That was one of my favorites as a kid. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Nice. Definitely destined for metal vocals.
Yeah.
I have like Hot Wheels and stuff. Like I still collect them actually.
Nice.
I have
Yeah.
some, like corgi toys and dinky toys from my British relatives, and I would, whenever I'd go over there, I'd like collect these cars. Yeah.
Awesome. And then last question, any message that you guys have for our military members that are currently serving overseas?
And personally, I love you, man. Thank you for everything you're doing. Stay strong. We love you. We support you. 100% here for you guys. Hoo-yah.
Definitely a big supporter of the military. My husband's actually a veteran. So I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would just say, like, the time will pass. You can get through. Just keep going. Just keep going, and it'll be okay. And
Yeah.
I just say my total and complete respect and support.
Yeah.
110%.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, like, I'm retired Navy too, and like, it's just like, it's like your husband didn't just serve, it's like you served along with him. If he got deployed, you were running the home, so it's just like the spouses and the families, don't get enough recognition as far as I'm concerned. I wish they had put some sort of like program together for, I mean, thankfully, like my reserve unit, when I got activated, they did have some activities that could bring my kids in and keep them, like, involved with certain things. Like my daughter, once again, the Hannah Montana lover, got to do like a camp rock type thing and then perform a song, which was a Hannah Montana song, of course, during that time while I was gone. I was bummed that I never got to see a video of it. I got some still photos, but yeah, it's just like, I wish they would do stuff where it's like the family kind of gets some sort of like training on what to expect, did not always expect the same person who left to come home, and how we can be more supportive and how we can all work together, to
that would be extremely beneficial, without a doubt, because you don't understand and you don't know. And
Yeah, I mean, if there's anything personally that DDU can do for the military, either playing shows or any kind of veterans benefits, we would gladly do that. We've given some donations already on behalf of the band to some of the veterans causes here. We'll continue to do that. But yeah, that's a great question. But they have my personal 1,000% support, and we love them with all our heart. And
yeah, you mentioned Everclear earlier too, and I was blessed during my deployment. They came and played our base, and I got to do security detail for them, and and to this day I have a relationship and a friendship with Art now,
so cool.
from that.
cool.
So yeah, it means a lot when people are able to come over and take our minds off of the thing. So hopefully maybe Death Dealer Union can do a armed forces entertainment event.
We
So
would
down
love
for
to
that,
have the
without a
honor
doubt.
of doing that, to be honest with you. So,
But it'd be even better for them to just see you guys back here at home too, So hopefully everybody gets to come home soon.
yeah.
Now, before we wrap it all up, for any fans out there that may be hearing about you guys for the first time and want to check you guys out and support your, the release and the journey along the way, where would you send them?
Well, deathdealerunion.com is our website. We're kind of rebuilding it. There'll be merch coming soon. There'll be a whole bunch of more stuff as we start and get ready for this new rollout, new record. We kind of had to, we rebuilt and redid some things. It just took a little time, but we're pretty close now, and we're pretty excited. So yeah, deathdealerunion.com and just at deathdealerunion on Instagram.
Awesome. Guys, it was really great talking with you, and I appreciate the time and look forward to what's ahead. And hopefully there's a a Death Dealer Union show that comes through Cleveland someday in the near future.
100%. I think we'll be playing Cleveland, Ohio, and we'll hope to see you there. And please come up and say hi. And yeah, you got to meet Mike, her husband. He's cool AF, man. He's huge. Yeah, he's a big old teddy bear. He's super cool. But yeah,
I was gonna say too. I was gonna say too. I do interview veterans on the podcast, so who knows? Maybe Mike will be down for coming on sometime. You got the email, so hit me up.
Yeah.
But
100%. Yeah. Okay, I'll let you Mike coordinate all that.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you guys so much for your time. It was great talking with you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. And love to everyone there. And we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
All right. Listen up. Hold on to your seats. Grab your girls. Grab your beers.
Hey everybody, this is Charlie from Anthrax, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now here's your host.
I am Monty Heath, SO1 Heath, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
Hey, what's up? It's John from Skillet, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle on Domain Cleveland Radio.
Fasten your seatbelts.